Not everybody's designed to be thrown in the fire. They're designed to be warm, but they're not designed to be thrown in. Hey y'all, I'm Weston Ritchie. This is Chris Hinckley, my best friend, my business partner. We're sitting in exclusive studios right now on something that we believe is what we're supposed to be doing. We want to give back and share impact through mental health, physical health, and entrepreneurship, not just for you guys, but for us, because these are things that we need to be talking about, and we need the brotherhood, we need a community. So this is Exclusive Life, and Chris,
Weston,
I have an amazing question for you today.
what's the amazing question?
The shell break. What does that mean to you?
So we talking like eggs in the morning, like I ate, or
You can
different
be
shell?
whatever you want to be, right?
So my shell was definitely my 6x6 cubicle. So I've probably told this on a few other podcasts before, but just to paint the picture of the work environment I was in, I was a structural design engineer for a defense contractor. And so very high security. And basically inside of the office, there's no cell service. You have to have a badge to scan in like 3 different doors. And inside of your cubicle is just 3 screens and a tabletop. That's it. Everyone else got the same thing. It's really quiet, no windows, no cell service. Like I said, it's very basic. You're there to get work done, and they focus on that. For me, I had worked so hard to get to that point to when I got that job and I was executing in that role, I thought that I was free. I thought that I had made it because that's what I had been working for or towards for so long. And it's what everyone told me growing up was like what I was supposed to be doing, really. Like my mom, God bless her, but she's from the working class. And, she never said, try and figure out what you love and maybe you can make a business around it. She'd do her best with the knowledge she had of like going to school, using sports as much as you can, and then understanding you have a brain and use it correctly. But that shell was that 6x6 cubicle for me. And like I was saying, when I first got there, I thought I was free. But at the same time, when I had actual realization and self-reflection, I realized that I was trapped. And I realized that I was going to actually go backwards versus forwards in life. And in the very best case scenario, stay where I'm at. But my mental was like draining on a daily basis. My cup was past empty. It was crushed and stomped on the ground. And when you talk about that shell and breaking out of it and making those cracks and just taking your fist and punching it, that's you making effort to make changes in your life. And when I say that, I'm mostly talking from my perspective, so I don't mean to direct this on anyone specifically. But it's more, I think when you're unhappy, a lot of people place the blame game. And this is what my father did. And so I do the exact opposite because he's not the man I ever wanted to be. But you really have to be honest with yourself and think about, okay, I don't like the life I'm in right now, but I created this. Maybe people told me that I should be doing this and I had a lot of outside influence, but I listened to that and I continued to move because I control myself. No one else does except for God. And so when I had to actually be honest with myself, like, okay, I'm unhappy, but I put myself here. No one else did. And at the same time, I'm the only person that can get myself out. I'm the only person that can bust out of this egg. And I have to actually put work in, not just talk about it and complain if I want to break free, if I want to get out of this egg. And I think it's pretty hard to be honest with yourself because you don't want to be that version of yourself that you know you are in that moment. But it's okay. As long as you understand that you can get yourself out of it and you're the only one that actually can, I guess that was my egg.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the egg, right?
Yeah.
I got to be a part of your egg, right? And I got to
PTSD.
see you, you know, it was almost like you were jumping around the egg out of the cartons as you roll off the counter and crack on the floor, right? You're like, I don't care what I got to do, but I got to get out of here.
Yeah, I was just like, break me, please.
Yeah, no. But at the same time, I have a question for you,
Answer.
Chris. How much are you worth?
You can't buy me.
Well, give me a number.
I can't put a number on it. What do you mean?
Okay, great example. But you can put a number of $73,000 as a yearly salary for you to accept that that's what you're worth.
Well, that's what I had to be honest with myself
No, and
about.
I don't want to knock anybody for having a salary, but it's kind of crazy that we also agree to a number of what we're valued at.
Right.
That is a crazy kind of concept, right?
Yeah, let
And then we
me
end up trading our life for money which is what you experienced in spaces where
Yeah.
you were miserable. So like talk about that.
Yeah. So let me explain. I'm an engineer. I'm a data guy. I'm a numbers guy.
That's
Gotta have.
that's a part of Chris. He's not an engineer anymore. He is, but he isn't. He's never supposed to be an engineer.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no, right? I don't regret anything. But anyways, I'm a numbers guy. So, I've told the story before, but I'm sitting in my office and obviously clock watching. I'm just ready to be done with the day, probably about a year into the job. And we have this calendar of like all the days we have off, all the days we have to work. And then I just, did a bunch of calculations on a spreadsheet. And so I was curious how, like, what percentage of the year that I was working. And then that got me thinking further of like, okay, I know that I'm pretty miserable every day I come in. Like, I'm not fulfilled 100% of the time I come to work. It was fun at first, it was exciting, but that died pretty quickly. And so when I took the amount of time in a year, which is about 70%, like you were talking about, maybe even higher for other people, that I'm spending my time at work. And if that's the case, then I'm unhappy about 70% of my year. That's crazy. And how much am I getting paid for that? Under $100,000. So you're essentially placing a price tag on your happiness if that's how you really feel.
Well, you're actually placing a price tag on your depression.
Well, I'm accepting that.
No, like think about it. Like I'm gonna get paid $70,000 to be depressed, not to be happy. I'm gonna be depressed because I'm not happy in my job.
Well, I'm just saying,
Isn't that
like,
crazy to think about?
from my perspective, yes. From other people's perspective, I think that is a different frame of mind because you may love your job, but if you're honest with yourself, does it allow you to live your ideal life? And most people haven't even thought about this version of themselves. And if that answer is no, then you're placing a price tag on your life's happiness in one way or another. You can lie to yourself as much as you want, but on your deathbed, you're probably going to have a lot of regrets because this ideal version of yourself is not you.
Yeah.
And that was, I get chills thinking about it because I just was like, whoa, I cannot believe I've been doing this and I've been going in circles. And like, that was the clarity moment, my aha moment of I've got to make a change. I've got to make some effort at a change and understand and work towards the fact that this is not my end all be all and start setting myself up to make a transition and create opportunities in my life to find something else, whatever it may be. I didn't know it was starting a business with my best friend. I didn't know it was a camera at the time. I just knew that it wasn't this. And I knew that I would do absolutely anything to figure out what that thing was.
Yeah, and I think that's just sitting in the fire, dude. You're getting too hot. You're like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, sometimes you got to sit.
And yeah, and I talk about this, all the time, but I think not everybody's designed to be thrown in the fire. They're designed to be warm, but they're not designed to be thrown in. And I think that's where you were, is you're like you had a bigger purpose that God wanted to give you and
Mm-hmm.
threw you in there so that you would have to get out. Because if you start making $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, it'd be really hard to say no to that paycheck, even if you hated 70% of your life or save 70% of your time. It would be a really hard decision
Yeah.
going from making 400 grand, even though you were miserable 70% of the time, to walk away from that. Logically, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It does for the happiness side and the non-regret side, but financially in that moment, it's hard to walk away from that comfort of finances, right? And that's a struggle we all deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, the man went to work, right? Paid for a whole family. They went home, they cooked. He rested at 5 p.m., right? And then, wife took care of the kids, took care of the chores, took care of the home. And that was one salary, taking care of a home.
Yeah.
Now you have one home with two people working and kids running around everywhere. It's like prices are different. So you kind of do have to be logical on finances at the same time. It's a weird dynamic that I don't think it's talked about a lot, is money's not usually a thing that's appropriate to talk about, especially with a significant other. But that should be a whole other segment.
Yeah, we won't get into that one right this second, but
I think it's interesting the way, you took the risk knowing that it's not the smartest decision based upon finances, but it was the smartest decision on life. And I think that's the important piece of that, right? So
yeah, I didn't move out of fear in that decision. Well, in a way, I guess I did move out of fear. I moved out of fear of what I would become if I stayed complacent with where I'm at in life. Because that is something I should
you
have.
saw your future self.
Yeah, I actually looked in the mirror and saw my future self and was like,
Saying it.
he's down the hallway and he's probably 50 pounds heavier and miserable and hates his life.
There you go.
That is becoming my father. And I was like, whoa, nope,
Pull
I'm
the
out.
reins,
I'm
bud.
out. I was like, I went from, okay, I'm gonna quit my job in 2 years to I'm gonna quit my job in 1 year to like, I got
I'm
6
done.
months to like, hey mom, like I'm leaving next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I love that. I love it.
Thank you for prompting me on that because I always forget sometimes like some of the experiences I've gone through and like this is 5 years later now we're talking about it.
It's hard to even remember sometimes, man. Like
It's hard because the
the
trauma just
details.
pushed it down. Like it just threw it out of my brain.
Yeah, man. So that's the cracked shell.
That's the cracked shell, guys. Figure out your shell and really think about, are you in one right now? Because you've really got to think about your future self, like your ideal life. I know I talk about it a lot, but it's so important to think about what you want to be. How much time do you want to have for your family? How much money do you need to be making in order to live the life that you want to live? A lot of people haven't broken that down. And if anyone out there is curious on how to do that, reach out to us.
Chris is gonna build out a calculate your life
Calculate your
free.
happiness. Yeah.
Yeah, calculate your happiness free something, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we got a few things in the works right now, but if you guys have questions, reach out, DM, any questions you have. If you want to hear certain topics inside of stuff we've talked about, reach out to me or Weston or our Exclusive Life podcast.